Hey there, friends. I know most of you have been keeping up with the force reset trigger, rare breed trigger issue that's been going on. And here lately, it's kind of heated up a little bit. They're actually going door to door and confiscating these triggers now. I want to share one particular story, one that you guys may be most familiar with. John Crump from Ammo Land actually did a story on this gentleman in South Carolina a couple days ago. The ATF, 4 agents in total, actually went to this gentleman's home. The owner of the trigger was inside, and they approached his wife, who was outside at the time, intimidated her, basically told her that your husband can go to jail. Actually, she was the one who had purchased the trigger from Gunbroker for her husband. They did not have a warrant, but they told her that if you give us the trigger, then we'll go on about our way. But if you don't, we're going to come back with a warrant, and we're going to press charges on you and your husband for having a machine gun illegally. So that's kind of what's going down right now, guys. And of course, you'll see here that there's a letter that they left with him, from the U.S. Department of Justice, and it just explains a lot of their actions and why they were there. And of course, you can see one of the agents, Chuck Donahoe, left his card there. That's actually a Shreveport location that he's got, and that's actually Louisiana numbers, but this was in South Carolina. I guess this guy has relocated, and with the massive budget the ATF has, I guess they don't have one big enough to issue him some shiny new cards with a shiny new gold badge on it. But nevertheless, this was in South Carolina, so don't be misled by what you see there on Shreveport, Louisiana, or the area code for Louisiana. This was in fact South Carolina. But again, guys, they're going door to door, and they are knocking on doors, and they're using the tactic of intimidation. They're essentially telling you that we're not charging you for anything, even though technically, according to them and their new definition of the force reset trigger, they're saying that the force reset trigger means you have a machine gun, but they're not charging them. I'm not asking them to charge them, and I don't want them to charge them. I think this is absolutely stupid, and of course I stand on the side of force reset, or rare breed rather. But nevertheless, it's like, are you enforcing the law? Or are you using the threat of enforcing the law to enforce the law? You see what I mean? They're going out saying that we're not charging you with anything, but if you don't give us the trigger, which these people are paying $400 a pop for, then we're going to charge you, and we're going to hit you with a warrant to search your home. Then you're going to be in trouble. This is some 1930s intimidation tactics from Europe, if you know what I'm saying. This is crazy, guys. These are our tax dollars doing this. And they're wanting to expand all these federal agencies out there. Guys, this is incredible. I'm going to stay on top of this story as best I can. Of course, John Crump from Ammo Land is as well. And we are going to share as much information as we can to get back to you. But I would say if you guys are out there and you have one of these force reset triggers, I actually don't have one. But if you have one, I would contact an attorney, and a decent attorney. Not your cousin Vinny or something like that. I would contact somebody and say, what do I do when these clowns come a-knocking? Because I believe they're going to come a-knocking. One more thing that I'd like to point out. How do these people know? In other words, I think we as gun owners and Second Amendment advocates, we need to take a really hard look at where is the ATF getting this information. And this is important. The Gunbroker organization is who sold the trigger. And I'm not taking a dump on Gunbroker here. I don't know who gave the ATF this information. But the trigger was purchased from Gunbroker. Now, is it the exchange, whoever was handling the money? It's very unlikely that Gunbroker actually manages their own money. There's probably a middleman that they subcontract out that takes the credit card payments and gives those to Gunbroker, and Gunbroker then initiates the transfer of the trigger or whatever else they're selling. I would be willing to guess there's a third party out there that does that. Is the third party who's giving this customer information to the ATF, or is it Gunbroker? I'd like to think it's not Gunbroker. But if it's the third party, now it makes me really suspect, because now we're going to have to really start taking a really long, hard look at who these people that we're doing business with in this community. Because we can't have this. They're giving the ATF just essentially a menu, a list of people to go down the list and visit them and harass them and intimidate them. I think we need to figure out somehow, and I don't know how, this is just, I'm spitballing here trying to throw something out there. I think we have got to figure out a list who is pro-Second Amendment, who is truly pro-Second Amendment. Not saying you're pro-Second Amendment. I don't want to hear the I'm Second Amendment, but I'm talking about if we see the slightest blemish with a third-party company or a company that we deal directly with who exhibits any kind of behavior that looks like it's anti-Second Amendment, or they're partnering and siding with any of these alphabet organizations from the federal government. I feel like we have to have a way to put a list together to essentially warn everybody, don't deal with these people. And maybe that's a project that we begin to work on. And if somebody knows of a certain project out there like that that already exists, I'd love to know about it because I'd like to promote that. But again, guys, we have to figure out a way to figure out who is on our side and who's just taking our money because it's good for them, and they're going to sell everybody out whenever it's good for them also.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.